Flight boss, bitch, for sure. You're now listening to the Mind Terry's Moon, Dolo the Archangel Uriel, and Flight boss here to carry out God duties and motherfucking responsibilities. And right now we're going to talk about planetary alignments and the totality of it. Now, we're going to break down some things so you get the full just and full understanding of it. Now, everything has a yin and yang to it. So when we want to talk about the left brain and the right brain, this is how we're going to break down the planetary alignments because it's two angles, two sides to these things. So the left brain will be your angles. The right brain will be your angels. So the left brain actually points you to the actual location in space that's vibrating. And the right brain tells you the meaning and reasoning of how that frequency is vibrating. You see what I'm saying? So it's almost like the left brain is square, the right brain is round. So the left brain, you can draw lines and have a point of reference, and have a point to reference to, and actually you can point to the actual location in space where that frequency vibration is taking place, and your right brain is going to give you the information of what's taking place in that orb, in that space. You see what I'm saying? So when you want to bring these together, you bring the right and the left brain together. So when we talk about your left brain, as far as your angles, now this is like your conjunctions, your oppositions, your trines, your sextiles, your squares, your inconjunctions. Your right brain, which will be your angels, become your powers, your obstacles, your learning processes, your gifts, your opportunities, and your misunderstandings. So let's bring the right and left brain together now. Let's bring the angles and the angels perspective together. So when you bring the right and left brain together, here's what happens. Your conjunctions is your powers. You see what I'm saying? Your conjunctions is your powers. Your your oppositions is your obstacles. Your trines is your gifts. Your sextiles is your opportunities. Your inconjunctions is your misunderstandings. Your squares is your learning processes. So you see what I'm saying? You see how you got the square, which is an angle that you can point to in space, and you see how the square, that representation that it plays out in space as a square, as a line put together as a square, represents a learning process that you may have to experience. See how opposition perceive opposites attract, but it also causes the friction. You see what I'm saying? So it's perceived as an obstacle, but it could be a give and receive or a tug of war match. You see what I'm saying? Now, once you understand how to break these down, then you will have to realize this is where some astrologers may stumble across because they may not be consciously aware. But I'm not gonna say there's any Pacific astrologers out there that's not, because I don't know. I haven't got a reading by an astrologer, but I know it's a common mistake because they would lead you to think that just because something is a trine, aka a gift, or just because something is a conjunction, aka a power, or just because something is a sextile, aka an opportunity, that is automatically a good thing. And that's not the truth at all. Listen, just because something is a conjunction, that's your powers. You can have a good or bad. You can have good or bad powers, good or bad conjunctions. Just because something is a trine, aka a gift, you can have good or bad gifts. You know what I'm saying? Just because something is a sextile opportunity, you can have good or bad opportunities. And how to know this is what the actual two planets is actually aligning with each other. That's when you know if it's a good placement or not. Just because it's a trine or a sextile or conjunction doesn't necessarily mean it's good. Same way, just because something is an opposition or a square or in conjunction doesn't necessarily mean it's bad. The description is going to be based upon what two planets is aligning each other, because each planet works different. You could have two planets that's squaring each other, but it depends on what two planets are squaring each other. Those two planets may actually feel comfortable and actually is a benefit than a loss. It's more of a benefit than a loss. You see what I'm saying? Just so for an example, the moon conjunct or trine Saturn. That's not necessarily a good power or gift, because say for the moon conjuncting Saturn, that means who you are, your emotional reactions and your response to life, right, has the power of being able to emotionally respond to reality and be able to react to gain a structure in your life and gain a stability. Now we know that can lead into coldness. That can lead into being non-emotional. That can lead into not having feelings. That can lead into having all your emotions and feelings predicated on material things, predicated on stability, predicated on reality. And when reality don't take the shape and form that you want it to take, it can be emotionally chaotic for you. It can become an emotional chaotic person when they don't feel comfortable with the things that they have, or they feel like they don't have what they're supposed to have, so that can make them uncomfortable and they can never feel situated or stable. So you see what I'm saying? It might be everything has a gift and a curse. You know what I'm saying? This puts this person in great positions because they don't have the emotional stability that others to care, so they know how to rise to the top faster in whatever business or job that they have. But it's all work, no play. They lack life, they lack experience because they are cold to a lot of those emotional awarenesses that people need to have to actually experience and actually have memory. You see what I'm saying? So it's different dynamics. Now if you got the Saturn trine or conjunct Mars, then that'd be a little better power. You see what I'm saying? So it deciphers between them. Now, and here's what you need to understand too. You know what I'm saying? Because when we talk about bringing these together as far as the square, the learning process and things of that nature, you need to understand what two planets is learning, need to learn from each other. You know what I'm saying? If you got the sun square if you got the sun square uh, Jupiter, then only thing that means is your actions and the way you act and how you see things, you need to start learning how to apply some wisdom and knowledge to that. You know what I'm saying? You need to start learning how to apply some meaning and reasoning. Start and experience the things that you're into and that you act upon, and then vice versa. Your meanings and reasonings and wisdom and knowledge and the experiences that you go through, you need to learn how to pay these things more attention, view these things more, act upon these things more. You know what I'm saying? And that's like a square. You see what I'm saying? And then you can get into a lot of different other aspects. And this is how you will know what kind of powers you have, what kind of gifts you have, what kind of opportunities you want to experience. Same way with the oppositions. The oppositions, opposites attract, but it also be the same reason why they separate. So let's go for an example. Let's say you got Mars opposing Venus. Mars opposed Venus. So quite naturally, right here, your intent, willpower, passions, and motivations and desires is going to be at odds with other people's way of love and appreciating, value, and relating to people and the things that they're really willing to compromise with. And vice versa. The way you love, appreciate, and value and relate to others is going to be at odds with other people's intentions, willpowers, passions, motivations, and desires. So to make this a give and receive match other than a tug of war match, if you got Mars opposing Venus, then sometimes you may have to set aside your intent, willpower, passion for the sake of how other people love, appreciate, value, and how they relate to others. Then, and vice versa, you have to set aside the way you love, appreciate, value, and how you relate to others for the sake of other people's desires and other people's passions and other people's motivations. Then you will see both of these things slowly come into with yourself. You'll start feeling more comfortable with carrying out your intentions and duties and obligations with amounts of love, appreciation, and value, and vice versa. The things that you love, appreciate, and value, you'll start learning how to add more intention to that intent to that, motivation, some more passion to that. So, when we're talking about planetary alignments, it can get tricky. You know what I'm saying? So this is another way how you can know your powers and know things of that nature and know where you may fall short a lot of times and keep experiences that keep occurring and you don't know why. It may be just a basic planetary alignment that you keep giving energy to. You know what I'm saying? Where you don't necessarily have to give energy to it. So, like I said, we're doing a quick rundown. We bring the right and left brain together. And the right and left brain is so you got your powers. Like every power ain't good. You know what I'm saying? And you got some good powers, and you just got to know when to utilize it. But the conjunction is your powers. So the conjunction is something that you already do. You already have the access to do it. It's already in your aura. So a conjunction is like a power struggle. You have to balance it. You have to know how to not go too far to the right or go too far to the left, not be too overpowering, not to be too controlling and too overpowering, but not being too passive and too letting go-ish because you know better. You know what I'm saying? So you have to keep that balance right there with the conjunction. What comes great powers comes great responsibilities. Your obstacles, your opportunity. I mean, your oppositions. It's your obstacles. So these is your ops in your life. These is things that you attract in your life in order to learn, so you can know how to get over that. See, opposites attract, but whatever you're attracting could come good or bad. So you know what I'm saying. And that's just like with relationships. Also, the same way y'all got together might be the same way y'all break up in both in scenarios. So what attracted you guys together is what actually going to break you guys apart also. And this goes into all mechanisms of life. But for the most part, when we talk about the opposition, opposites attract. So the opposite is the law. That's what law of attraction is. That has nothing to do with manifestation. But I can teach you how to balance the two. And the balance and the bouncing of the friction, I got a video on that already. But see, opposites attract, but it's what the thing, the creation that comes out of the attractness, that little center orb, is what's going to have to be dealt with. So a lot of times that little orb be the obstacle, or the blockage for the connection to keep coming back together. So when it is connected, the orb get bigger and bigger and bigger to the point y'all got to separate again. You see what I'm saying? So that's how the oppositions work. Now squares work as learning processes. So it's always something you have to learn to apply to yourself, or something you have to gain an understanding of, so you can kind of go with the flow effectively. You see what I'm saying? A trine is your gifts. So a gift is something that you naturally know how to do, but your ass ain't getting off your ass and do it. You see what I'm saying? You may need a person, place, or thing to set fire up on your ass to actually do it. But if you got two planets trining each other, the two planets that's trining each other, a lot of times it's based upon what planets they're aligning on their own to determine how well a person kick in their gifts or not. You know what I'm saying? Because for an example, you can have the moon trine the sun, but depending on what angle, what other planet your moon is angling, and what other planet your sun is angling, a lot of times that can affect your gift. And a lot of times you may not jump on your gift because you might be paying attention to something else or reacting to something else. You see what I'm saying? And you're not paying attention to your actual gift. So that plays into play too. But that's how the trine works. The trine works is something you already know how to do. A video game you already know how to beat. If you're a girl, some makeup or some hair you already did. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, if it's a gift, it's not something that you jumping up and getting ready to do every day. You know what I'm saying? Because it's something you already know how to do. But if you do jump into your gift, you can actually make something out of it. Now your sextile plays out as opportunities. So you may not always see, like I said, you may not always see the opportunity. The opportunity may take a shape or form that plays as an example of an experience that you may not want to experience. You see what I'm saying? Because you unsure of the energies and energetic forces. Then opportunities may play out as a situation where it's open arms. It's like, okay, oh, this is just for me, and then that could be bad. See, so you have to be careful with the sextiles, because you have to know what opportunities to take and what ones to pass. And some opportunities you should pass on may look very enticing that you should go into, and there may be some opportunities that may look like you don't want to experience, but at the same time, that be the experience that you should experience. So be careful. So all that would determine on what two planets is sextiling, and what elements that they in, what signs that they in, and that'll determine what kind of opportunities you come across more than others. You see what I'm saying? Inconjunctions is misunderstandings. So for an example, if you got Neptune, in conjunct Venus, then that mean like the way your dreams, let's start with Neptune. Your dreams, illusions, creativity, and imagination, right, misunderstands your own or other people's ways of how to love, appreciate, value, and relate to others. And then vice versa, the way you love, appreciate, and value, and how you relate to others misunderstand your own or other people's dreams, illusions, creativity, and imagination. So when this come here, it's hard for you to support other people's dreams and creativity and illusions. It's hard for you to support it. And then vice versa, your dreams, illusions, and creativity, it may be hard to be valued or appreciated by yourself or others. You know what I'm saying? So you have to kind of blend it in, and get an understanding, and don't be misunderstood no more. And getting an understanding is knowing where the misunderstanding lies. And now you can start understanding where things was misunderstood. But yeah, that's a quick video on how to look at your planetary alignments. This is how you understand what kind of powers you have, if they're good or bad powers, what kind of obstacles you're going to be experiencing, what kind of learning processes you need to figure out, what kind of gifts that you have, what kind of opportunities that you need to take upon or pass on, and what kind of misunderstandings that you're going to have in this life. Flight boss, bitch, goddamn, and